Ladies and gentlemen, this is breaking news. In this video, I'm going to show you how the Small Business Administration illegally contracted a prominent and regular political donor that blocks the disbursement of the full $10,000 grant to all legitimate small business applicants of the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And ensure you watch this video to the end, because I'm going to show you how lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, both Democrats and Republicans and the Trump administration, have worked together to stop the full disbursement of the $10,000 Economic Injury Disaster Loan advance to you, ladies and gentlemen. And mind you, I have no major political party affiliation whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. I am for and with you, ladies and gentlemen, the elite group of 31.7 million small businesses, constituting 99.9% of all small businesses in this country, ladies and gentlemen. Without us, the economy is dead. We employ 60.6 million U.S. workers, 47.1% of all U.S. workers. Ladies and gentlemen, I am with you. So you're going to see what proves, documents that prove that all lawmakers, all public officials have worked together to block your receipt of the full $10,000 grant as per, quote, congressional intent, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get right to it. First off, the chairman of the Select Subcommittee on the Virus, James Clyburn, and chairman of the Small Business Committee in the House of Representatives, Nydia Velázquez, they are launching an investigation into SBA's contracting of RER Solutions to perform loan evaluations and disburse the Economic Injury Disaster Loan advances, with RER Solutions that subcontracted the work to Quicken Loans, to Rocket Mortgages. They're both sister companies. Actually, Rocket Holdings owns both organizations, and they are subcontracting the work. I've referred to this several times in the past, the $500 million contract, and you're going to see exactly what it's all about. And I've dug deeper and found more information in regards to this organization's political activity and how it's been influencing the blocking of the $10,000 disbursement of the advances to all legitimate small businesses, to me and you, ladies and gentlemen. So here goes the release. Today, James E. Clyburn, chairman of the Select, you already heard this. They're launching investigation into the $500 million contract that we've been talking about. We are concerned by reports that millions of small businesses seeking emergency loans have faced long delays, poor service, and processing errors. As the committees of jurisdiction, it is our duty to ensure that taxpayer money is being spent efficiently, effectively. And here are the letters, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, they write why they're sending these letters, why they're making these requests, and these are documents that they're requesting: solicitations, offer information, proposals, quotes, unsolicited proposals submitted by RER and Rocket Loans. These letters are going out to the Honorable Javita Carranza over the Small Business Administration, Aaron Green, chairman of RER Solutions, and Mr. Jay Farner, chief executive officer of Quicken Loans. And just to recap, the letters are practically identical, ladies and gentlemen. They're requesting, again, all offer information, documents regarding to Rocket Loans' participation in the SBA contract, documents regarding the ability of Rocket Loans to perform the services, the contract between RER Solutions and Rocket Loans, in addition to all documents between any of the three parties, communications regarding the SBA contract and its performing, a list and description of all federal loan processing contracts in which Rocket Loans has performed. In short, they want to know everything that involves, all documentation that involves the contracting of RER Solutions and Quicken Loans, Rocket Loans, to perform the loan evaluation services for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Now, here is the USASpending.gov page that documents that the Small Business Administration has already disbursed $520 million to RER Solutions. And Vice President of Rock Holdings, Aaron Emerson, Senior Vice President of Rock Holdings. This is the company that owns Quicken Loans, owns Rocket Loans. He told the New York Times that we are stepping up to help solve problems under an existing contract, said Aaron Emerson, a spokesman for Rocket Loans, adding, we were tapped to help the SBA process applications. So he's basically confirming that Rocket Loans is helping processing applications for the economic injury disaster loan and its advances, ladies and gentlemen. And he said it to the New York Times. And I doubt the New York Times would actually lie about that, because then they'd be liable for libel. So, as you know, as I've said several times in previous videos, Quicken Loans donated $750,000 to President Donald Trump's inauguration back in 2017. According to the FEC, federal government contractors are prohibited from making contributions or expenditures in connection with federal elections. For example, a contribution from a partnership with a government contract would be prohibited. As another example, a contribution from the personal or business funds of an individual or sole proprietor with a government contract would be prohibited. However, employees, individuals, stockholders, and officers of federal contractors may make contributions or expenditures from their personal assets. Also, the spouse of an individual who is a federal contractor may make a personal contribution or expenditure in his or her own name. This is the law that FEC guideline summarizes. 115.2, Prohibition. It shall be unlawful for a federal contractor, as defined in 115.1a, to make either directly or indirectly any contribution or expenditure of money or other thing of value, or to promise expressly or impliedly to make any such contribution or expenditure to any political party, committee, or candidate for federal office, or to any person for any political purpose or use. This prohibition does not apply to contributions or expenditures in connection with state or local elections. This prohibition runs for the time period set forth in 115B. Keep watching. Keep listening. Let's take a look at 115.1B. The period during which a person is prohibited from making a contribution or expenditure is the time between the earlier of the commencement of negotiations, when the requests for proposal are sent out, and the later of the completion of performance under or the termination of negotiations for the contract or furnishing of material, supplies, equipment, land, or buildings, or the rendition of personal services. Why did I just read you this section? Quicken Loans made the contribution to President Donald Trump's inauguration back in 2017. Way before any negotiations, way before anyone knew that the pandemic was going to hit us with this economic crisis and health crisis. Nonetheless, a government contractor is prohibited from making any donations from the time that negotiations start of the services. So for instance, when they're starting to negotiate what the package is going to be, what the service is going to be provided, etc., and until they finish it. So they're not supposed to be donating, making any donations. Now, this is what's going to blow your mind, ladies and gentlemen, because my thing is, all right, they made a donation back in 2017, so now this rule doesn't apply to them. Unless that's why I tell you, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, because we report what other people do not, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to see this anywhere. No other YouTube channel is going to report this. No news outlet is reporting this stuff. But this is the stuff that major news outlets need to see. That's why this stuff has to get spread. We have to put this information out so it can get coverage and can get us attention for S.4227, the disbursement of the full $10,000 advance for all economic injury disaster loan applicants. Now, another thing, subsection C. For purposes of this part, a contract includes a sole source negotiated or advertised procurement conducted by the United States or any of its agencies, a written except as otherwise authorized contract between any person in the United States or any of its departments or agencies for the furnishing of personal property, real property, or personal services, and any modification of a contract. So, a written contract, except as otherwise authorized. So, except as otherwise authorized may fall under the activity that RER Solutions performed when they subcontracted Quicken Loans in order to perform the loan evaluation services for the economic injury disaster loan. Now, federal contractors are prohibited from making donations while they are performing these services. We just established that. Subsection B. Look at these FEC filings, ladies and gentlemen. This is FEC filings for Rock Holdings, the parent company of Quicken Loans. On June 24th, 2020, made a donation of $5,000 to the American Financial Services Association PAC. Andy Barr for Congress, ladies and gentlemen. That is a Republican from Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Andy Barr for Congress. Beatty for Congress. Joyce Beatty. Joyce Beatty is a Democrat from Ohio. You see? They're serving both sides of the aisle. All right, let's go to the next one. Made a donation of $1,000 on May 20th, 2020 to Debbie Dingell for Congress. Debbie Dingell is a Democrat from Michigan. Debbie Dingell for Congress. Again, another $1,000. $1,000. Actually, I think she may have refunded that $1,000, and they made a donation to Debbie Dingell on $1,000. $1,000. Democrat for Congress. So going to the next filing. Friends for Chris Stewart, $2,500 donation. He is a Republican from Utah, ladies and gentlemen. That was on April 19th, 2020. Again, Joyce Beatty, Andy Barr for Congress. We already know who they are. Democrats and Republicans. Citizens for Waters, Maxine Waters, Democrat from California, ladies and gentlemen. It comes as no surprise as to why lawmakers do not mention the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Rock Holdings is paying off lawmakers from both sides of the aisle, ladies and gentlemen, and the Trump administration, ladies and gentlemen. Why would they say anything about the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program that points fingers at potential impropriety on the part of the Small Business Administration coming from the entire federal government? The entire federal government is working together to stop any news coverage, any mention of this stuff. That's why I tell you, subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, my thing, regardless of whether you are Republican, regardless of whether you are a Democrat, my objective is that you feed your family, that you're able to pay your employees, you're able to pay yourself, and get through this health and economic crisis, ladies and gentlemen. You see where it's happening. You see how this organization is paying off both sides of the aisle. So it doesn't benefit lawmakers, either Democrats or Republicans, to talk about the Economic Injury Disaster Loan when you see all of this corruption going down, ladies and gentlemen. When you see that one organization got a $500 million contract through another contract, potentially exploiting a loophole that says, all right, they're not on the contract because RER Solutions is the one that's on the contract, but they're still doing the work. Now, one other thing. Here's what I want. This is going to blow your mind. This is why I say subscribe to this channel. This next thing that I'm about to show you right now. Among the key issues that Rock Holdings lobbied for, take a look at this Senate filing here. Issues related to customer engagement and privacy security. First off, Quicken Loans is a client of the lobbying firm Melman, Castagnetti, Rosen, and Thomas, Inc. Okay? And this is one of the key issues that this organization was lobbying for. HR 748, the Virus, Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act. Public Law number 116-136. This is not the only Senate filing. Look at another Senate filing. Another entry. Specific lobbying issues. Community Reinvestment Act. All right. CARES Act. S.3548 and HR 748. This is a lobbying report. And another lobbying report. Again, lobbying for the Virus, Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act. Public Law number 116-136. Do I have another one? I believe I have another one. Okay. So you see, several instances, several entries, several lobbying reports. This organization is lobbying for the CARES Act. And why not? They stand to gain potentially over $500 million, ladies and gentlemen. $500 million. Why wouldn't they lobby for the CARES Act, ladies and gentlemen? And just keep watching. And this is the reason I state to subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet. Keep watching, because this last bit of information, you've probably already heard it, but I'm just going to tell it to you one more time, because this message needs to get spread. I want to ensure that I inscribe and let you know that the entire federal government is working against this Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. You see how they always talk about the Paycheck Protection Program, but look how many favors they can return to the Paycheck Protection Program. Look how many donors, look how many political donors are enjoying millions of dollars in the Paycheck Protection Program. And the limit for the Paycheck Protection Program never got capped. It stayed at $10 million. So they kept on promoting it. Why? Because they could return so many favors through the Paycheck Protection Program. Nonetheless, SBA capped the economic injury disaster loan at $150,000 for the smaller of the small businesses, ladies and gentlemen. So these are the organizations, we don't make political donations at that particular scale. I'm going to leave you with this note. Nevada District Court judge found that the CARES Act statutory language gave the Small Business Administration the discretion to place arbitrary caps on the economic injury disaster loan advance. $1,000 per employee. They could have given us $50 per employee. We'd be complaining about it. Nonetheless, they'd be able to continue to do that. This is what the district court found. I'm going to read the ruling verbatim. Rather, I find that the plain language of the CARES Act and the statutes that empower the SBA and its administrator afford the SBA some discretion when making emergency grants. I am not persuaded that the SBA's duty to fund those grants in the amount requested up to $10,000 and within 3 days is so plainly prescribed by the CARES Act as to be free from doubt. I therefore deny Ventures. Lit Ventures was requesting the disbursement of the full $10,000 grant. The court denied it. Who wrote the statutory language? Who put together? Who engineered the entire economic injury disaster loan advance program? That came from ranking member of the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, Democrat from Maryland, Senator Ben Cardin, and chairman of the committee, Senator Marco Rubio, Republican from Florida. During a speech that Senator Cardin delivered on the Senate floor, this is what he said. And this is the congressional record, so you could see it. I already mentioned Senator Rubio. I thank him for his leadership. The two of us were working together well before this week, and that is why we were probably further along in helping small businesses than the other parts of this package dealing with the various economic areas. Senator Shaheen was a valuable member of our team. I have worked with Senator Shaheen on small business issues for a long time. She was a key player in putting together the package that we have to present to our colleagues here in the U.S. Senate. I also want to acknowledge Senator Collins. It was the four of us who were meeting regularly and communicating regularly and who recommended this package that we will shortly be voting on as it relates to small business. Now, Senator Shaheen, she's a Democrat from New Hampshire. Senator Susan Collins is a Republican from Maine. And they all work together in order to get this economic injury disaster loan package together. Keeps boasting how the program, on how he engineered the program and put the legislation together. So that is just one program. We have other programs available. We have a new program which is labeled as a grant, a $10 billion grant program for emergency cash availability for small businesses. And then it goes to there are small businesses getting a hard time looking for funding, etc. And right now, here it goes. We have included that in the first supplemental. We now allow you to make the application, and with that application, if you need to get cash immediately, the SBA can write you a check for up to $10,000, and we want that done within 3 days. We want that money out in days, not weeks. We hear that all the time from small businesses. We need help now. I was pleased to work on this program. I filed legislation on it. This is a need that is out there today and will be available to small business owners. Now, we have a third program. Those are two programs where you can get this, basically 2-month help from the federal government to pay your payroll and related expenses. You can get a $10,000 immediate cash advancement on that through applying for disaster relief loan and showing a need at this stage. Now, this is what he said on the Senate floor. Let me emphasize the word said. Nonetheless, what he put in writing was something completely different, ladies and gentlemen, which is why we have encountered the issue with the Small Business Administration has discretion to disperse $1,000 per employee, $50, $25 per employee, pepperoni per employee, whatever it is they deem fit. Because he said this. Nonetheless, the law, this is what it reads. In general, during the covered period, an entity, this is section of the CARES Act. During the covered period, an entity included for eligibility in subsection B, including small business concerns, private nonprofit organizations, and small agricultural cooperatives that applies for a loan under 7B2 of the Small Businesses Act, basically just identifying a small business in response to the virus, may request that the administrator provide an advance that is subject to paragraph 3 in the amount requested by such applicant to such applicant within 3 days after the administrator receives an application from such applicant. Look what it reads. In other words, a small business may request waffle topped with ice cream and strawberry syrup and some whipped cream made with coconut milk. They may request that. Small business may request that. Nowhere in the law does it read that the administrator shall disburse $10,000. Nonetheless, so he wrote the word may. Check out paragraph 3. The amount of advance provided under this subsection shall be not more than $10,000. They got the language right on that one. They made sure to cap it at $10,000. The amount of an advance provided in this subsection shall be not more. That's a directive. That's a mandate. The advance cannot be more than $10,000. That's what they were supposed to say. They would say that the administrator shall disperse the full $10,000 as per S.4227. And you got to remember, Senator Ben Cardin, he graduated top of his class in the University of Maryland School of Law. So he, out of all people, would know what would be the ramifications of wording the CARES Act in that manner. And Senator Marco Rubio, chairman of the Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship. He also graduated within the top 20%. He was cum laude at the University of Miami School of Law. So both of these gentlemen, together with Senator Shaheen, Senator Collins, and everybody implicated in this, everyone who received a donation from this organization, they have all worked together to block the disbursement of the full $10,000 economic injury disaster loan advance to all legitimate small business applicants. So being that all of these findings implicate everybody, now what we have to aim to do is get this issue, get this scandal out into the major media news outlets. Share this message as much as you can through this video, or write down and go ahead and document, find the documents to go ahead and prove it. Do it yourself if you want to. Share this video with the New York Times writer with whom we've already shared correspondence. We got her to mention S.4227 on her latest New York Times article. You can reach her at stacy.cowley@nytimes.com. You can also go ahead and reach out to Political Playbook. They're always looking for tips, updates in regards to the stimulus package. So you can go to Political Playbook at politico.com. CNBC Tips. They're also regularly covering stimulus negotiations. CNBC Tips at nbcuni.com. ProPublica.org/tips. And go ahead and share it on your Facebook wall, through other social networks. Anybody that has an interest in ensuring that the Small Business Administration deposits the full $10,000 economic injury disaster loan advance to all legitimate small business applicants, ladies and gentlemen, because I will not stop. And this is the way we have to do it, because if there is no attention to the economic injury disaster loan advance program, if there is not substantial attention to it, the president's going to shrug it off. He's not going to deal with it until reporters kept on asking him, will there be another stimulus check? That's when he said, yes, we are working on another stimulus check. Yes, because they kept on pressing him on it. And we have to continue to press them through coverage, ladies and gentlemen, through continued publicity for S.4227, the Insured Increased Disaster Loan for Small Businesses Act. That will ensure that all businesses receive the full $10,000 grant as per quote congressional intent. We're going to make it congressional intent. We have to demand it. And you got to remember, you're part of an elite group without whom this economy is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Watch this video right here for more stimulus and economic injury disaster loan coverage. Click the like button if you like the video. Click the subscribe button to stay on top of my findings. I will report what other people will not. And stop at nothing until each and every one of you is funded for everything for which you qualify. Let everyone know I'm open to operating with all YouTube channels. Anyone that has any voice that can go out and spread the word that we need this monetary ammunition to save this country, ladies and gentlemen. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America and everybody else on this planet. Talk soon.